On this day, I greet you with a welcome, and as I say it, namaste. How's everybody doing today? All right, just give me a second here, get everything straight. I'm gonna speak to you real quick. First of all, did it get back cold or wet? um, yeah, it got back cold. Uh, I don't think it is above freezing right now. Matter of fact, I know it's not. So I had a hunch, I had an intuition, and I had a gut feeling that this winter was not over with. I'm looking on my phone. Yep, it's 27 degrees outside. So yeah, we got a winter weather advisory. uh it says we're gonna slowly climb out of it. We shall see. We shall see, and then we shall see. All right, so today's topic. Today's topic is backstories. All right. And I just wanted to speak real quick about backstories and why they're important. In a society in which we live, like right now, it is encouraged not to know past things. I'm hearing more and more people, even people that are older than me. Past wasn't important. This wasn't important. That wasn't important. You know, it's just like things that came before now are just not important. I don't get that. I totally don't get that. You know what I mean? Um, if any of you out there watch Naruto is an anime, okay? And I was told for this first story arc, it's 220 episodes. 220 episodes. So they have guidance in the form of videos and just articles to skip filler episodes, what they call filler episodes. You know what a filler episode is? Filler episode is an episode of a series that doesn't like contain the original canon of the story. It's just what it says. It's just to fill the space up. Okay. There are 220 episodes of Naruto in the complete first story arc. Out of that, I think maybe 60 episodes of filler. That's a lot. You know what I mean? And people were telling me, skip certain episodes, just skip the filler episodes, get to the story. I'm like, why? So, you know, why do I need to do that? People want to get to the meat and potatoes right now. Everybody's impatient and nobody wants to learn anything that came before what is placed before them now. Okay, this is a great example. Just bear with me. All right, I'm going to get to what I'm saying here. I decided to go through instead. I'm still not done. I decided I'm going to watch these episodes. The backstories are included in those filler episodes. There are a lot of characters in this anime, Naruto. There are a lot of characters. By skipping the filler episodes, you don't get to see the development of certain characters, certain storylines. You know what I mean? The story as a whole. Okay? That's what I mean. Everybody's in a rush to get to where they're going. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So, perfect example is that. I'll give you another example. Another example would be Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino came out with Grindhouse. 2 movies, 1 whole movie. Okay. The first movie was, I can't remember the name of it. The first movie was the horror movie. It was directed by Robert Rodriguez, but I can't remember the name of it. But Planet Terror. Planet Terror. He got to the story like rather quickly. You know, within the first couple of minutes, you know what was going on with this book. Quentin Tarantino took a minute to get to his story once it came on, and it was so long and drawn out. I almost walked out. I said, "No, let me stay." You know, and I'm glad I did. Because what Quentin Tarantino does, I credit him for this. He likes to develop his characters. That's why he gives them so much dialogue, so you can get to know the persons in the story. Okay. Once you get to care about them, and you kind of get attached to them, and there you have it. That was another good example. Naruto, and then Death Proof. All right. Hello, hello, hey. How are you doing on this cold ass day today? All right. I'll give you another example where backstory is actually very much needed. The Matrix is an awesome series all throughout, all 4 movies. I will say it again. The Matrix is an awesome series. I have never seen a movie or a series that can be decoded each and every time you watch it, right? I've had discussions with people, and some of the questions they asked, I could answer. How do you know so much about this, though? Where do you get those ideas from? Well, I watched the backstories. I've told people for a long time, if you want to understand the Matrix, you got to watch the Animatrix. The Animatrix. It gives you all the backstories of the Matrix. And this is key to understanding the whole franchise. Now, if you're just one of those people who just want to get through it, fine. Okay? Go right ahead. All right? But you're missing out on some key points and understanding. Seems like in modern society, nobody wants to understand anything. They just want to get it, and that's it. Give me a second here. All right. So, in order to understand, in my personal opinion, in order to understand the Matrix, you got to watch the Animatrix, and you have to watch the Matrix Explained. Each clip is about 5 to 10 minutes long. Okay. The Matrix Explained is one of the best channels that I've ever seen, breaking down certain points of a movie. They do an excellent job with that. Excellent, 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 excellent. If you want to know, where does the Oracle come from? If this is a city of robots, where's the Oracle come from? How did the Oracle play both sides of good and bad? How did she play both? How did she play Neo? You see what I'm saying? Who was really the one? Was it Agent Smith or was it Neo? See what I'm saying? Who torched the sky in the Matrix? They don't give you any of that in the movies, but the Animatrix does. Okay? They had a meeting at the UN between people and robots. The people attacked the robots. The robots was just trying to live peacefully. Now, of course, if you want to decode that, it could talk about a certain people. You know what I mean? But still, it is crucial to understanding the movie as a whole. Again, take it or leave it. My personal opinion. Okay? All right. Where were we? Excuse me. Give me a second. My dude. Sorry about that, people. Sorry about that. I'm coming to a point. I promise. I promise you. I'm not just talking just to be talking. I'm coming to a point. All right. So, what about our ancestors? Why is it they try to make it seem you don't need to know your ancestors? If the backstories weren't important, why do they cover it up? Does that make sense? Why do they cover it up? Why in Egypt were they trying to make the faces white? Okay. Why do they constantly whitewash history if it's not important? The ancestors wrote stories in tablets, in stone, in hieroglyphics. Hieroglyphics. What was the purpose of that? Why is it that they still can't duplicate ancient civilizations? Why is that? Could it be because they're trying to create their own new civilization, which is fine, okay? But some of the marvels of the ancient world, they can't duplicate it. Why? Why can't they do that? If the history wasn't important, why are they covering it up? Why is it that a certain people couldn't have built a civilization that they lived in and thrived in, but they had to have ancient aliens, little green men, come down from the sky and help them if that wasn't important? What is that? If the backstories of our ancestors are not important. Give me a second here. All right. I want to play a clip for you. Something Godfrey said caught my attention. Y'all know Godfrey. Godfrey is a comedian. He's a comedian, and he has appeared on Vlad TV. Okay. Everything feels so perfect. Then it starts to play, and I was not trying to let it play. All right, so I want to skip to something because I want you to hear this. All right, so let me share my screen real quick. This one, share sound. I'm going to skip it. I'm not going to play right about here. So, if it wasn't important, why do they hide everything? You know what I mean? What is that? Like he said, what is that? What is ancient aliens? And the people who lived there, they just were not able to, they weren't smart enough, according to them, then they weren't smart enough to build those luxurious, magnificent buildings and culture and civilization. If it was not important, why are they inserting Caucasians, Europeans into those roles and saying, no, we were here, not y'all? When everything, all evidence to the contrary said that these were melanated people. Now, I'm not trying to get into a race thing. I'm just trying to prove a point. See what I'm saying? I'm trying to prove a point. And this is how I'm getting there. In Avatar, the last Airbender, Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is another anime, very popular anime. And Aang is the Avatar. He's the current one, right? There's a mode that he goes into where he draws on the power of all the avatars that came before him. See what I'm saying? He draws in all the power of the ancestors. That makes sense? He draws in all that power. I think it's called the avatar state. You know what I'm saying? Or at any time, he can go into an astral travel and speak to one of those avatars and say, hey, how would you handle this particular situation? How did you handle it during your time? You see what I'm saying? You know, I'm sorry. Peace, Ashley. Hey, how are you doing? Of course, we got a bot in here. He said a lot, but still gave himself a way out, didn't he? LOL. I'm not sure, Konami. I'm not sure are you referring to Godfrey? He gave himself a way out. I'm not really sure what you mean by that. Please elaborate so I can say them. Yeah, it actually just confirmed it's the avatar state. You see what I'm saying? Hip hop is nowhere close to what it looked like back when during this golden age. Now, people may say I'm hating, but hip hop had a message. It was born from a certain people who were going through certain things, and they rapped about it. You know, now it's the complete opposite. Those messages, there's nothing there. And the argument that I hear from people who listen to this garbage is that everything evolves. But if something's going in an opposite direction, how's that evolving? That's devolving. I can listen to anything. Women didn't pride themselves on being hoes back in the day. They didn't. You know, you got these people just projecting these certain images to a younger generation that's totally fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Totally fucked up. You know? Now, what better way to destroy a people by constantly projecting negative stereotypes into their gray matter? What better way to have a nation full of fucked up young people come up and repeat cycles of destruction? You see what I'm saying? Hip hop hasn't evolved, it's devolved. It totally doesn't resemble anything of when it was birthed, if that makes sense. All right, so continuing on to my point, because I still ain't got there yet. My wife and I, we found out that we're both fans of noir movies, right? And she was already a fan of old black and white movies, okay? You know, these are movies upon which these current movies are built on, okay? Like as far as the technology and everything. But when we go to these classic movies, they have way more substance in the classic ones than the current ones do. You see what I'm saying? Give me a second here. All right, so I'm going to read what Konami's saying. He said Godfrey had a great point, but he ultimately said he thinks the aspect about the supposed people of the Bible being black stems from us being angry because of everything else being whitewashed. Okay, I get what you're saying. You're right. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. He did give himself a way out. He absolutely did. Okay. And Ashley also made a good point. She says hip hop was just poetry with added on beats. Now it's gibberish, no soul at all. Thank you for saying that. Absolutely. It's a bunch of gibberish, and you can't tell me that there's any kind of messages in these hip hops now, these so-called songs. And like I said before, you build upon what came before, right? Hip hop is I don't even, it shouldn't even be called hip hop. You know, everything is fucking and killing, and I mean, I try to listen to it. Every time I try to listen to it, I get sick to my stomach. How blatant the messages or lack thereof are projecting to the youth, and the youth listens to this. So one of the things that I do, I try to listen to a song. I go to the comments, and all these thousands of comments praising this garbage. You know what I mean? All right. Peace and blessings, elegant granny. When the Bible was the first thing whitewashed, please keep going, brother. Yeah, I mean, I can go back to that point all day. I just didn't want to make this particular video on race, but anytime you talk about it, it's like a taboo thing now. Like you're not free to speak your mind. What is that? It's racist. Caucasians now considered racist to, to, to point out racism. Like what? How is it racist to point out racist behavior? You know, or just I said this in one of my previous videos, is that here in Texas, this is a couple years old now. There was a 10-year-old. It was a 10-year-old that got in trouble in school for berating another student. So it was a white student. I'm gonna use those terms so you can know what I'm talking about. The white student berating a black student, following him around, bullying him, telling him he was his slave. He's gonna do what he tells him to do, and that he owns him. This is a 10-year-old. All right, this is a 10-year-old. Okay, I've said previously a number of times that racism is passed down. How does a 10-year-old know something like that? Know about their place in slavery? You see what I'm saying? Does that am I making sense? If I'm not, please tell me. But my point is, how do you think racism continues? Because people don't want to let go of it. That's the simple truth. You know, this is not racist talk. I'm just pointing something out here. Okay. Why is it so important that parents teach their children how to be racist? Children are not born that way. Stop it. Don't even think that. That's taught. It's taught and it's passed down. You see what I'm saying? I'm not sure if any of you read Yahoo. But I do know that they took away the ability to comment on Yahoo articles. Why would they do that? I have a theory. It's not a fact. It's just what I think. I have a theory. I think they want to keep people from being racist. What do I mean by that? You can go to any article on Yahoo on any day on any subject, and you're gonna see a bunch of racist comments. I've done it. I've told people to conduct experiments. I mean, that was their platform. I'm not sure if any of you knew this, but it could be any subject. It doesn't have to do anything with race, and somehow somebody will bring something up to turn it into a racist kind of like dialogue. Take it or leave it. My opinion. I think they just wanted to stop that, because it was out of hand. And I mean, it was every day, all day. I'm not exaggerating. I think that's why they took away the ability to comment. Children's auditory is different from adults. They pick up on frequencies that adults cannot. I think that is why they are attracted to whatever music. I can agree with that, Ashley. I can agree with that. I really can. What do you think about Jay-Z going to Congress to get the FBI banned from using rap lyrics to indict rappers for real murders and crimes as evidence? Rappers shouldn't be rapping about that anyway. Hello, hey. I didn't hear about that, so I can't really comment on it. I don't know, but I know they tried that before. They tried that before in the 80s with 2 Live Crew. I think they took 2 Live Crew to court. I think they tried it with NWA also, but I can't speak on something I'm just hearing about. I can't do that because I just don't know. And I'm not afraid to say when I don't know something. I would have to do some further research on that, but that's the first time I heard it, is when you mentioned it. I will look into that, okay? And I'll have an answer for you at a later time. Amir says, I've seen Yahoo articles, and yes, they really were racist as fuck. Yes, well, bullshit you not, people. If you haven't, they take away that ability. They took away the comments. They said to provide a safe environment. I think that was the new breeding ground of races to gather together, to be quite honest. It was all day, every day. You know what I mean? And if you made a comment like defending something, they make sure they dislike it. If a comment gets so many dislikes, it gets hit. And I think they figured that out. Like I said, this is just my opinion, though. I don't know, if that's why they took away that ability, or was it the virus? Was the virus? That's why they took away the Yahoo commenting? I'm being stupid. All right. Let me see. Oh, I'm sorry, Elegant Granny. I didn't see it. Your comment. I'm a former private school educator, and the things children exposed from their homes are so unbelievable. The children don't know these behaviors are wrong because it's extremely normalized at home. Someone give Elegant Granny her props for saying that. I've been saying this for the longest time. They're taught at home, period. Period. They're taught at home. I remember I was about 7. I was in Philadelphia, and we had to go to a white neighborhood for something. My mom was visiting a coworker. And so I was outside playing with her son. I think I was about 7 or 8 years old. I remember he was across the street from me. We were doing something, and a kid rolled past. He said something. And all I can remember is my new friend looked at me, and then went running after the kid. I'm like, what happened? So he came back and he explained to me that he said something. He never said what he said, but he said something racist to me. I think he called me a nigga. You know what I mean? I could go on racist experiences. Of course, I can go all day with that. You know, I was exposed at a young age at it, but I don't want this to turn into a racist thing. I don't want to go into that. I'm just using those as examples to prove a point about history and backstories being needed. Okay. Oscar, you probably never heard of him. His name is Oscar Micheaux. Mischaux. He made so many movies. He made a lot of movies. Okay. He's a melanated brother who made silent movies as well as talkies. He was bitter when he died, you know, because he didn't get the acknowledgement that he felt he deserved. My wife brought this up to me recently. She loves black and white classics. She loves them, you know. But once she told me that, I went and researched, and he did. He made a lot of. He had a major contribution to the film industry, and yet barely anyone knows him. So I believe he was at a conference or a lecture or something like that, and he went to make a comment or something. Please forgive me. I'm not saying the whole thing correctly. I know I'm not, but they made it like, who the hell are you? Like he was nobody. You know what I mean? And he had done so much for the film industry, you know? And I think what he was trying to point out was that, you know, if it wasn't for him, such and such and such and such. This is a bad example because I can't remember. But again, my comments are because people think that, you know, past history is not important. Backstories are not important. You know what I mean? That's where all this is coming from. Yes, I'm dealing with that now with my kids' school. The laws that are in effect for public school is BS. No accountability to the parents and no punishment to those kids. All right, well, I'm sorry you're going through that, Ashley. I know for a fact um, it's BS. I know. And I remember I grew up in Catholic school. And I remember the day that I learned about slavery. It was the first time I heard anything about so-called Black history. I was 13 years old, 13, before I found out anything about my past. They make sure they know what the hell they're doing. And these were nuns that were our teachers. They know what the hell they're doing. Don't think for one second they don't know. They teaching Black kids whitewash history, all the inventions, everything that was, you know, relevant to society, everything, white, 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 Jesus white, angels white, everybody in the Bible white. If backstories are not important, then why do they do that? You know, goddamn well, these people are melanated and copper colored people. You know, again, I'm not trying to make this a race thing. I promise you, this was all for a point. All right. Same thing goes with grimoires or magical books. You know what I mean? Magical books. What are they? I've seen people say there's no need to read. They're just going to download the information. These same people don't know how to do a lick of magic. All right. But they have the gift of gab. So they can seem like they know what they're talking about. Okay. I'm not saying follow all these grimoires. I mean, because now we come into my main point. I'm not saying follow all these grimoires. I'm saying, what is a grimoire? I have over 1,000 of them, okay? Magic books. Why do I have so many? I want to show you a description. Read along with me, children. A grimoire is the handbook of a worker of magic, one who commands cosmic beings to fulfill his demands in mystic, unseen ways. Grimoires exist, which were written centuries ago in museums and private collections. You can find these handwritten books personally created by dedicated, painstaking seekers after magical knowledge and achievement. Some took decades to put together, and each grimoire varies in authenticity, accuracy, and power depending on the magical status of the writer. Some grimoires were written by amateurs on the mystic path and are filled with confusion and fable. Others are genuine magical documents packed from cover to cover with explosive, ultimately powerful spells and rituals which can work miracles for the user. That was my whole point. I don't know how long I've been talking, but that was my whole point. The grimoires are for you to build on, okay? The grimoires were written and the writer says, this is what I used, okay? This is who I called on. I did it on this day. I got my results. This was the result. This was the kind of result I got. This is what I originally asked for. I'm gonna try this. You see where I'm going with this? Okay. They are there for you to build on. You're supposed to, of course, you're supposed to build your own foundation. All right. Supposed to build your own foundation. But what are you going to build your foundation on if you're talking about coming into it, talking about, oh, I'm going to just do my own thing. I don't need to read nothing. You know how foolish that sounds? Okay. It is a science and it is an art, just like any other science or art. Okay. Why do you think lawyers, you ever seen a law library? Lawyers often reference in court, they reference other cases. This is what happened in this case. This was the result. That makes sense? Y'all still with me? Or like Bobby Hemmett said, y'all all right? I told my kids' school not to teach my children their history because it's not their story. Most of the teachers are Caucasian white women, and not to be racist, but no, they will never know. I know that's right. I know that's fucking right. Elegant Granny says, and there's a hell of a lot more than slavery to us. If our children keep focusing on slavery as history, they'll never experience true royalty and freedom they are in their future. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. If you constantly putting in somebody's mind that these people are God's chosen people, and this is why they have everything. If you're constantly putting this in kids' mind, they will grow up to believe that. Luckily, I grew out of my programming fairly early. Okay. I was militant way before I became an occultist. Way before. Okay. As a matter of fact, I think I grew out of that programming the day I found out about slavery. I went home and I told my mother I hate white people. And I can remember the look on my mother's face. She was like, and I was pissed. All that day, I was mad. I was mad as hell. Like, how are they going to do that to us? But yet and still, all we were taught is to love our enemies, turn the other cheek. You know what I mean? And we had white statues, everybody white. You know what I mean? This is not hate speech, people. I'm just pointing something out. So if we don't go back and teach our kids the truth about who these people really were, then they'll still look to white people as like these great, majestic, fucking benevolent beings. History says something completely different. All right. I did not mean for this to become a commentary on race. That's totally not my intention. Okay. Totally not my intention. But they want you to act like nothing is racist and that to not focus on it. Yet and still you are bombarded with it 24/7. 24/7. In every way possible. You are bombarded with music that is denigrating and destructive. You know, when I was growing up, if you are known as a hoe, that was a shameful thing. You know, it was not cool to be a hoe. It was not cool. Okay. And yet, look at where we are. I was trying to listen to one of these women rappers, and I'm the shit that she was saying, and I'm like, and this is what people like these days. But remember what I said again, they practice magic too. These these so-called elite people, they practice magic. They do mass magic. This is why they own all the TV, all the music. They own all of that. So they can constantly bombard you with whatever they want to. Okay, I'm gonna reference this movie again. Josie and the Pussycats. All right. This is one of the reasons why I'm glad people are starting to homeschool their kids. You know, that's a good point, Amir. That's a very good point. Because I was hoping that at the start of this thing that happened 2 years ago, I said, now y'all have the opportunity to take your kids out of school and homeschool. It doesn't take much to school your own seed. You know, only a fool will let his enemy teach his kids, says Malcolm X. Exactly. The Japanese were rounded up and put in internment camps and had 2 nukes dropped on them. You don't hear them say a word about it, but they remember, and this was only 60 years ago, but and a point on that one also, excuse me, hello, hey, is that they got reparations. But as soon as they don't feel like we need, say I could go on as far as race, but I don't want to do that because my channel is not about that. My point was grimoires. That was my whole, I said all those stories just to get to that point. I'm so sorry. And y'all know I'm not real talkative, but that was my whole point about building on magical practices of the past. Use them as guidebooks. You know what I mean? Use them as guidebooks. Okay. I forgot to mention on one of my last videos, a word on Egyptian magic. I forgot to mention this book. This book is called the Book of Abrasives. Abrasives was the Gnostic god, right? Dynamite book. It is very good. It says a grimoire of the hidden gods. It gives you preparation and securing of space, protective magic, amorous magic, wealth and prosperity, and curses, and transcendent. Because a lot of what was taught back in ancient times was how to ascend, how to prepare your soul to be immortalized. What do I mean by that? The Egyptian Book of the Dead is a funerary text. Okay? They believed they needed to help those recently deceased people along their journey in the underworld. This is something that we don't no longer practice. We just bury them 6 feet deep and say, fuck them. So remember I said, in case none of you heard this story, I said, after my mother-in-law, she passed, my wife, a couple years later, kept having dreams, like every single night. She was having dreams every single night. Her mother would be in it. It's like she was trying to speak, but she couldn't. There were no words coming out. It took a week later before it dawned on me. I said, your mom needs help crossing over. So I reached out to a friend of mine. Hey, what's your suggestion on how to help someone cross over? Because that's not my field. That's not something I do. I don't specialize in that. All right. She gave me what to do. We made a makeshift altar in our bedroom, and then we lit a candle, a 7-day candle, and we kept giving offerings, and we did a couple different things. And finally, those dreams went away. Okay. Greetings, Hanifa. I always like names like that. I was having this same exact combo yesterday. Synchronicity. Yes, yes. It wasn't even cool to allow anyone to call us the B word either because of the derogative spiritual connotation put on it. Now our daughters say the same word is a power word. I'm glad you brought that up, Elegant Granny, because I heard someone say, well, I use the term Black because it meant something. Just because you mean something does not change the meaning of a word, okay? Black always has meant pale. It always has meant dead in the eyes of the law. That's what that word means, period, okay? There's nothing empowering about the word Black, which is why I don't like using it, okay? We don't understand the English language, and we put spells on ourselves all the time. All right. It is what it is. And yes, I mean, back in the day, you call one of the sisters a bitch, fighting. Those fighting words, period. You might as well put your hands up. And at least it was like that in my neighborhood. Call a woman a bitch, it's on. Didn't care if you was man or woman, it's on. You don't call that, but bitch also means something else. Elegant Granny said they will lose teeth calling me that. I got you. Oh, I hadn't even thought about them getting reparations. Oh, everybody's gotten reparations. Everybody, except melanated people. Oh, Jim Crow Joe it's not even a thought to him. You know what I mean? This is why I was like, when Trump was in office, he was talking about doing for Black people. And him and Ice Cube was trying to set something up. But nope. Melanated people listened to the media and drove him out of office. I said, y'all are gonna regret that. Are y'all regretting it yet? Old Jim Crow Joe. Amir, yes. Amir says, I had to tell people to stop walking around with a mask that reads, I can't breathe. Yes, why are y'all doing that? Try telling them words have power. Words have vibrations and frequencies, okay? We cast spells on ourselves all the time, and we don't even know it, Sad. It's so sad. My whole point, I think I've talked about an hour now. I did not mean to do that. I am so sorry. Let me stop apologizing. Backstories. My whole point was about backstories. Okay. How you gonna go forward if you don't know past, the past? How you gonna go forward? You're just gonna go forward? That's it. You know. Do you know if it wasn't important, they wouldn't be rewriting history as we speak. You know what I mean? They would not be writing history. There would be no need to point out that the ancient Chaldeans were Black people, melanated people. There would be no need if they weren't trying to constantly put themselves into history to rewrite it and just leave us out of it. How do you do that? How do you do that? People say you shouldn't be focusing on the past. No. That's not true. How would you know what Caucasians were capable of if you didn't know what they did past then? You know, it ain't come out right, but y'all know what I mean. Y'all know exactly what I mean. And I'm not saying go around hating the average white person. That's not even what I'm saying. You know what I mean? I'm just saying know who you're dealing with. That's all I'm saying. Know who the hell you're dealing with. You know? I don't even care about politics anymore. I feel you. I totally feel you on that. Totally feel you on that. You know what I mean? I totally feel you on that. But anyway, that's all I got today. I felt like I needed to come here and speak on this. If y'all get a chance, look at Godfrey. Now, I always say they're all bought and paid for. Yeah, but listen to the stuff he says on Vlad TV. Did y'all know that Pinky was even on Vlad TV, who said that her father watches her in prison? Big old Dora pause. I was surprised to see that Pinky was on Vlad TV. This man is making millions off our culture. But for her to say that her father watches her videos in prison, that's some sick shit. I have a little girl. She's a grown woman now, but I couldn't imagine watching my daughter in a way like that. I couldn't imagine that. I could not at all. Again, just my opinion. Oh, Hanifa is Solasophy. How are you doing? That's an interesting name you have there. I'm going to have to check it out. Right, Konami. Konami said she was proud about it. I am going to see if I can bring this up for y'all. So, it's been searched. It came right up. That knows. Oh my God. I'm going to share this with y'all. Since I got y'all here, why not? Let's share this.
Shout out to VladTV.com.
How did your your family really take it once, because when you were stripping, that's something that really no one could know about it, unless someone just happened to just kind of stumble into the club. But once you start doing movies, you're actually doing promotion. Everyone knows that so-and-so's sister or
I
daughter
mean, it's
whatever.
crazy because I was like the most likely to succeed. I was the one that got sent away. I got a scholarship to go to a special high school in Minnesota. Like, I used to play violin, dance ballet. When I graduated from my school, I got all these awards. Everyone knew I was going to go to college. So the disappointment was when I was 17 or 18 and I didn't go to college. That was like the first blow to my family. Like, oh my God, all these years we've been going to recitals and doing this and doing that, supporting you, and you didn't go to college. So the first blow was that I didn't go to college. When I was 17, sneaking and dancing, my mom found my whole bag with my stripper shoes and condoms and lube and vibrator and lingerie, and I'm only like 17. So that was like, damn, she knew, she found out. And she was mad. She tried to fight me. She tried to fight my boyfriend. She body slammed me on the ground, started choking me. He had to act like he was going to hit her for her to get off me. And then she was like, oh, it was just fucking crazy. I got kicked out my house. But when I started doing porn, my mom used to always tell me, and I learned from that situation, her trying to beat the fuck out of me. She always told me, tell me first. Like, I don't want to know from somebody in the street. Tell me first. So before I did porn, I told her, I was like, look, Ma, this is I don't want to hear it. 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 And I'm like, Ma, I'm telling you because this is something that's going to benefit and not just benefit, but you're going to be affected by it too, negative, positive, whatever. So I was like, I want you to know this is what my plan is. This is what we plan on doing.
I'm skip.
Believe in her mind that I wasn't doing porn, but I was just taking that in my name. And she'd be like, oh my God, somebody else, or just skip the scenes,
Wow. So
that's
here we go.
I'm in the same orgy or the same movie as you're gonna, whatever you can get your hands on, you get your hands on, So the fact that I'm in the same orgy or the same movie as other people he say that he just fast forward and just go to somebody else or just skip the scenes,
Wow.
So that's embarrassing that my father see me fucking on film, but it is what it is, And
wait, so you and your dad have had a conversation about this?
And I didn't see, it was hard enough me telling him that I danced at the club, but he's from San Francisco, so it was people he already told him, so I had to come clean. But now with the porn thing, I was like really embarrassed about it. I was like, but he was on some shit like, I don't want you to not be a part of my life, and he's already locked up, so he was just on some shit like, I love you. As long as you're protecting yourself, as long as it's something you want to do and it's not something that someone's making you do, and la 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 la, if this is what you choose to do, then hey, So.
When's he supposed to get out?
It is.
He's fire camp now, and I think they're gonna release him early for good behavior. He's not supposed to get out for like 4 more years, but he might.
I didn't mean to include that either. I did not mean to include that, but I just thought that was so interesting that Pinky gets on there, and I just couldn't imagine, oh, where did I lose y'all? Or, oh shit, went out of my own, give me a second, y'all. I'm trying to get back to your comments. There we go. All right. If we can get on there, and I just couldn't imagine, Oh my God. So, yeah. She tried to justify it by saying he just wanted to watch other girls he had already liked, but she was also, exactly, she was in those scenes. I ain't no justifying that. I'm sorry. A little late. Hey, what's up, Katrina Barr? Hanifa, okay, she's a porn star. That's who Pinky is. She's one of the most famous Black porn stars out there. All right. Now, if this isn't making money off the culture, I don't know what is. What was the point of having a discussion about her father coming across her porn in jail? What is the point? There's so many other things that Pinky can talk about. But what was the point of that? You know what I mean? Godfrey also has fallen out with Vlad TV. I think because he dissed Minister Farrakhan. Is some of the things that he brings up, I'm like, okay, but you got a couple million subscribers. So you're making money off of, I mean, everybody does it though. Everybody eats off of us. This is a fact. Again, I was not trying to bring race into this at all. It kind of led to it, but it's unavoidable. You see what I'm saying? It's really unavoidable. My dad and I didn't have the best relationship, but he would have tore my ass up no matter how grown I am doing something like that. Yes. He would have beat me till I remember I'm a queen and not a dog. That's the way I feel about my daughter. My child, my princess, we've like this, and we've always been like this. I would have had to beat her ass physically. I'm not talking about figuratively. I'm talking about physically. Whether she got a husband or not. I'm sorry. Hey, I didn't raise you that way. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So anyway, I agree with you, Elegant Granny, is what I'm saying. I agree with you. Vlad is vile. He should have been canceled ages ago. Absolutely. Some of the topics, like, why? Do y'all remember the movie? Y'all remember the movie Lockdown? In Lockdown, Master P movie. In Lockdown, what's that guy's name? The one who got raped. There was a rape scene in there. Okay. As soon as he got to prison, the first he ain't been in jail in an hour and he got raped. Y'all seen him before. He was in, what's his name? I can't remember his name. Anyway, why did he need to talk about that scene? He has a whole bunch of other credits, acting credits. Why did that scene need to be discussed? And the fact that he cried afterwards. For what reason did that need to be discussed? There's absolutely no fucking reason that needed to be discussed. None. Konami made a very, very good point. What's up to Dark Lordism? Today is his birthday. Let me give a shout out to my brother, Terrain, Dark Lordism. Today's his birthday. Happy solar return again, brother. Y'all show him some love some kind of way. He is on Facebook also. He also has a channel. So give him some love. May you have blessed many more birthdays, brother. Where was I? Oh, Konami. Konami made a very, very, very good, very, 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 very good point. The same way Vlad pays for questions, he paid for Pinky and knew exactly what to ask beforehand, always to show us in a certain light. So this motherfucker gets paid to show us in a certain light. And we support that. Like Godfrey said, he dates Black women. Shame on him. Shame on them, is what he said. Godfrey, I like that dude. I really do like him. I mean, but you got to take what he says with a grain of salt, too. Because in my opinion, they're all bought and paid for. Every single fucking one of them. And the ones that seemingly against the establishment, is the one being paid by the establishment. It's called controlled opposition. Yeah, like Maury. I used to hate Maury. This motherfucker should have never, excuse my language, he should have never stayed on that long to do that bullshit. You are not the father. They still try, this is what I'm saying. They still try to show, why do they spend so much money on marketing, digital marketing, to show us a certain way, yet still they ain't got the money to pay us for reparation. Even when we try to go our separate ways, they have destroyed communities, whole communities. There wasn't just Tulsa. That's just the one they talked about. There were other thriving melanated communities that were prosperous and were torn down, literally, and people killed, and businesses burned to the fucking ground by Caucasians. This is their history. You know, I'm gonna say it one more time. I did not mean for this to be a race kind of live. I really didn't, you know, but in order to prove my points, some things have to be said, period. I'm not gonna apologize for my mindset. That's one thing I will never do. Yeah, they print they create money out of thin air, literally. And it's the inferiority complex within them. It's inherent. Absolutely. 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 But again, my whole point in making this live is history is important. All history is important. You know, this is why, you know, you gotta dig deep. If you're trying to know a certain thing, you have to just, you have to dig. You really, and you shouldn't have to dig, but you do. You have to dig in order to find the truth. This is only one book on Egyptian magic, right? But like the books that I mentioned in that particular video, you got to have several books on the same topic. Get several books. Don't just get this one, okay? Get any book by Budge, any book on Egyptian history and culture by Budge, plus the books that I mentioned in that particular live. I mean, so how are you going to know how the magic works exactly if you don't know who the gods are and how they were worshipped? They had whole cities named after gods. Marduk is a prime example of that. Okay. In Babylon, certain cities had their own gods. Did you know that? Okay. This is how important some of these deities were. Okay. In order to understand how magic works, understand the culture in which it came from. All right. By diverting us from our natural selves, it literally buys them more time. It's more than worth it for them. Konami is on it today. Listen to him. Listen to his comments. Somebody boot that. I wish I could boot the bots out of here. Oh, Konami. Duh. My bad, man. I didn't realize the name. All right, that's my brother that's talking to me. Konami is my brother. Yes, I love Marduk too. It's called Mardukite magic is powerful. The best day to do that would be tomorrow. Okay. I like what Katrina just said. That's why we have to celebrate ourselves every day, because come February, they always do some fuck shit to throw us off our square. Absolutely. If you're a friend of mine on Facebook, I do something every day. I show stuff every day of the year. You know, you're gonna say something about Black history or something today, and every goddamn day to remind you who you are, melanated and copper colored people. You know what I'm saying? All right. Again, my whole point in doing this live was to let you know the backstories are important. Okay, history is important. The past is important. All this is important, not just during this month. Always. Okay, you know where y'all coming from. Know where you come from, and the people from which you come from. All right, and I'm saying that to everybody. Okay. All right. With that being said, my time today is over. I'm going to get off of here. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for allowing me into your space today. I'll be back soon. Okay? Y'all have enjoyed the rest of your day, whether it's cold in your area or not. And I will see y'all next time, because I am the one and only Magic LaQuad. Namaste. Peace, y'all.